Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wowhead Weekly number 211. I am Annie, or Annie Fuchsia. I am a full time streamer on Twitch and also the host for this amazing Wowhead Weekly show. As usual, my co host is the lovely Perculia.
Hey everyone, very happy to be here. I am still traveling, which is why my background is in Stormwind, but I will be back next week for our Monday show for Blizzcon predictions, and then we will have a show in person at Blizzcon, which is super exciting. But before I get ahead of myself, we have some 8.3 spoilers to talk about. We have some Warcraft 3 things to talk about. And surprisingly, we don't really have much BlizzCon stuff to talk about because we have no gear shop updates or schedule updates.
Yeah.
But the endpoint stuff is still cool.
Yeah, so as Perk said, we will have a special show IRL just like we did last week. No, not last week, sorry. Last year after BlizzCon, so we can share our thoughts and impressions straight after the show instead of waiting a few days and then possibly forgetting some details. So I think that's going to be really, really exciting. Yeah, not last week. I promise. There was no secret last week BlizzCon. Not that I'm aware of, at least.
Oh no, I wasn't invited to it.
But yeah, Perk is in Stormwind still. She is making her trip around Azeroth and making a stop in Stormwind every time she's going to a new place because sometimes we just do that. Sometimes we decide to travel across Azeroth. But she'll be with us next week, right?
Yeah, yes. I will be back, and Brightpaw will be back too.
Yes. So we can see Sweet Perk next week, and we can see Sweet Brightpaw too. So that's good. It's gonna be awesome. Right before BlizzCon too.
So yeah, we'll have like all our predictions being covered. Yes. Maybe some leaks. Hopefully a schedule by that point. Like, we're just talking about this before we went live. It seems strange. There's no schedule or merch reveal, and even the virtual tickets were all revealed in one big burst and not spread out like in past years. So it feels like something is last minute, or they're purposely trying a different approach in how they reveal things.
I didn't think about that. So virtual tickets was normally in different stages?
Yeah, they would reveal all the items in different blogs or little mini shows leading up to BlizzCon.
How many days is it remaining now? Is it 10 days? 11 days.
Yeah.
11 days. It's getting close. But yeah, for now, let's jump into some 8.3 PTR action, as we do have some updates, even though last week's show was massive with a lot of 8.3 things. There's still a few more things to show you guys. First off, we have these really cool Death Knight swords.
Maybe cool's the wrong word.
Okay.
They look fiery to me.
That's true. Oh my god, the pun. All right. Yes, the very fiery swords. I was like, wait, is she going to use a word that's bigger than cool? Or is cool not good enough? But yes, fair enough. They are very, very fiery, not cool at all.
Which is interesting because we associate Frost with Death Knights, but since Bolvar is now the Lich King, and after Wrathgate, Bolvar was burnt by the Red Dragonflight, which both saved him but transformed him into this horribly mutated figure. It makes sense that they are fiery now, reflecting his origins. But there's 4, not 3. So normally when there's Death Knight stuff, you have one that's blood, frost, unholy, and that's represented there. But there's one that is called Burning Blade, and it even looks slightly different.
So what is this going to mean?
Yeah, because everyone's like, oh, is this from a new Death Knight spec? And I don't think, based on the way balancing is, I don't think every class is going to get a new spec in patch 9.0.
No, I really doubt it too.
I wonder if one is from a special quest. If you look at the item level of the swords, it seems that they're from the starting zone. And if you remember with the data mining of the allied race Pandaren and allied races last week, it could be that there's a new starting zone experience, and you would complete the starting zone and get one of these swords.
So new rewards for possible new starter zones for Death Knights. Do you think that would be a revamp of the current starting area, or do you think it would be different?
I think it would be a revamp. Well, I think they would have to change the storyline because it wouldn't make sense to, retcon Panda Death Knights and, Nightborn Death Knights into the, Lich King Wrath narrative. So I think they'd have to pick up the story in the future. And maybe there'd be some player choice, and maybe if you pick one choice, you get one color sword, or if you side with, I don't know, a different faction, you get a different color sword.
That's going to be really interesting to see. Which is also exciting because new Death Knight things brings more questions of, are we going back to the Lich King?
Right. I mean, I think we have to be going back in some way because we still don't know what's happening with Vol'jin.
True.
And he, is dead, traveling in the Shadowlands. We don't know where Sylvanas is. And she keeps saying that her plan is to master death. And with all this talk about death, and also Talia Fordragon, her father is, Bolvar.
Yes.
It seems that there's a lot of threads that even if he's not a central figure, he would play some sort of role in a death-themed story.
And that story was touched upon recently, right? With Jaina and Anduin talking about it, whether they need to tell her or not.
Yeah, it was
to
just a little exchange.
I mean, not Talanji, Talia, sorry.
Yeah, it was interesting exchange because instead of this was Datamine broadcast text to celebrate us defeating N'Zoth, and Blizzard is choosing to not focus on the celebration, but instead talk about this conflict of should they tell Talia about the Lich King of all characters or not. So I think it will be significant in the future.
And maybe we'll see more of it at BlizzCon.
Yeah, I mean, even if Bolvar isn't the main character, it could be something similar to how Illidan was in Burning Crusade, and then he was on the box art in Legion, and you could have something where, Wrath of the Lich King featured Arthas doing something, and maybe in 9.0, Bolvar will be present, but there will be a twist, and he'll be more neutral or helping us versus, being the big bad of the expansion that we need to kill again. Maybe he'll have like a more interesting redemption arc. Personally, I think that a lot of gods of death will be present. So like Blansamdi would be present. Sylvanas will be doing something. We'll learn who brought Vol'jin back. The Valkyr and Helia will be present. I think all of those will be coming back, so it won't be, we're going to fight Bolvar again. But I do think he will play a role in it.
Yeah, it's actually a very nice comparison there that you made with Illidan, because he got his redemption arc and came back expansions later, and maybe something could happen with the Wrath of the Lich King as well.
Yeah, where it's like Sylvanas is trying to cause trouble, and now the Lich King is strangely siding with us, because if you remember the Vol'jin quest line, the Lich King and Blansamdi were discussing
they were not
how they
happy
both...
with Sylvanas. Yeah.
No, they were like, she's disrupting the balance. So that would be an interesting twist if we're working with the Lich King.
Work with the Lich King to get Sylvanas down.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. Do you think the Sylvanas story will continue on to the next expansion?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to, with how prominent and mysterious she's been, and how menacing she's been this expansion. And even if she disappears for a patch or so, the repercussions are still going to be felt, because the Night Elves are still really unhappy with their tree being burned
Yeah.
down, and Tyrande is out there curious why Elune abandoned the Night Elves during that battle. So
Mm-hmm.
there's gonna be more stuff there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely plenty of space for it. Um, I think we can move on to a little model update, which is quite interesting.
This is so weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure why this was updated, but let's show you guys how it looks like. So we had models of Nazoth last week shown to you guys. Looked like this. There were two versions actually, so it's this one and this one. And now what we have is something that looks like this.
So he has fewer eyeballs, but way more spikes.
Mm-hmm. Fewer eyeballs, more spikes, and yeah, why do you think this happened?
Probably. So I think that they were probably positioning the boss, and the spikes at the bottom do make it look more menacing. I also feel that this was inspired by his Hearthstone card art, and we're seeing that Blizzard is trying to have really good fidelity to the art between games. So like Warcraft 3 Reforged art looks very similar to WoW character models, and I think they reined in some of the differing elements from N'Zoth model to make it more consistent with Hearthstone.
Okay, so again, old model right here and new model. So you see more spikes coming through from the bottom, from the can I call them legs? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Also from the sides as well. Like in place of eyes, there's some more spikes. Do you have a picture of the bottom? Because that's really weird.
The bottom? Wait, I'm not sure.
Like
is it bottom only?
If you open up the model viewer and you rotate it so you're looking like up at N'Zoth, there's a keyhole in his bottom.
Oh,
it looks really strange.
No, wait, let me take a picture of this so I can quickly show it.
Yeah.
That is so creepy. Why is there a key? Or a keyhole?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is a glitch because there's the Il'gynoth whisper about turning the key. I'm like, wait, I don't hope this isn't related.
Oh, that's actually so funny. Here, okay. Picture key is right here. There you go. So when you turn N'Zoth around and look underneath his legs, under his skirt, this is what you see. An actual keyhole.
Yes, that was updated as well. It was a circle in the last build.
Okay, so it was a circle in the last build, and now it's turned into a keyhole.
Yes.
How did anyone even notice this? That's so funny.
Well, I guess in the Wowhead model viewer, it only has one animation, so people were rotating it.
Yeah.
And the third comment on Wowhead was about the keyhole, so people caught on very quickly.
That's funny. I wonder if it has some kind of key story to it, or if it's just what can it mean?
I mean, it seems there is the Il'gynoth whisper. Let me pull up the exact whisper, but there is one related to a key.
Really?
But yes, it is. The Lord of Ravens will turn the key.
Okay.
But everyone assumed that the Lord of Ravens was referring to either Khadgar or Medivh, and they're not really present in this. Plus, it's like, what are we gonna do? Like, have this key and we're gonna rotate N'Zoth around?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Maybe some artist was just having fun, or the model was unfinished, and it's a clever way to remind us of Il'gynoth whispers.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm really curious because you can't say it's 100% a coincidence either. Well, I feel like it can't be because where did the keyhole come from? So either it's some kind of, like you said, possibly a hidden message from the artist just having fun, or maybe maybe it'll be something in the boss fight. Who knows?
Yeah. So
Maybe in
yeah,
the
I think
fight
the
you
new
have to
model.
find rogues to lockpick it. No.
Yes. So which version of the model do you like better? I think that the new one is a bit creepier with the spikes sort of in the weird fiery part of him. So I think it looks grosser now, which I guess is the intended idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me take a look again. So this is the old model, and this is the new model. I think the new one does look more gross in general. Even the shade of the purple is more brain-like, I guess.
Yeah.
The old model almost looks pretty, but in a weird way. I wasn't sure if
Yeah, it
I
looks
could
a
make
little
it
too
uglier.
delicate with the glowy stuff at the bottom.
Yes, yes. And the eyes are kind of pinkish too, and then they go into some kind of, I don't know, purple mixed in with orange. It looks splattered. I don't know. It does look more creepy, so if that's what they were going for, then yeah, definitely playing its role now.
Yep.
Yeah, looking more nightmarish. And then the spikes, of course, does make it a lot more like you don't want to be close to it. It's more dangerous.
Yeah.
This is like
So
Mama Nazoth, and this is like Baby Nazoth. Yeah, what do
yes,
you think?
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I prefer the new one. I think that having fewer eyes makes the remaining ones more impactful and kind of gross and creepy. And hold on, I'm zooming in on these 1 sec. Oh yeah, so if you look at the old model, if you look at the center eye, the pupil sort of goes from left to right. But if you look at the new model, the pupil goes it's vertical, not horizontal.
Oh yeah,
And
true.
I think it looks creepier that way.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I see it.
yeah. So I think he looks more the skin texture, it looks more sort of bloated and weird. So in the old one, his
Yes.
skin looked kind of smooth.
Smoother.
But then in the new one, it's like you have all these like weird outgrowths and like extra blobs and bulging things, and you see the red molten stuff sort of peeking through the skin.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I couldn't describe it. I'm glad you described it better. I was like, yeah, the new one looks more brainy.
Yes.
I don't know how to describe it, but that's exactly it. There is something more creepy about the skin.
Yeah.
For sure.
But speaking of creepy, but also cute, we got a lot of battle pets.
Oh yeah, we got new pets to highlight.
Yeah. Some
New
of these are
pets to
also
catch.
creepy.
Yes. Some of them are creepy indeed. You want to start off with the pet called Cuddly?
Yes, so Cuddly is very weird looking, and the flavor text is, his tentacles give you the best hug your brain has ever felt. And this appears to be a reward from one of the Veil of Eternal Blossom assaults, as it's a drop from the Forgotten.
I can't decide what feeling I get looking at it, and with the flavor text, I'm just more confused. I don't know what's going on. Cuddly wants to hug you.
Yes.
And it's the best hug my brain has ever felt. So he hugs me inside my head. Like, I'm not sure if I want that.
Well, I think he wants to sit on your head. And
oh. Well, and the tentacles go through inside your head?
Yep.
Like through your ears?
Oh, now that's gross.
I was waiting for you to react. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very, very unsure about this one.
Yeah, so am I. But it's cute if you don't think about it too much.
Yeah. And he's got a very, very cute little robe going on as well.
Yeah.
With the royal
Did you have any
color.
others?
Yeah.
Did you have any others that you liked?
I have a few more that I put here. If you want any of the others shown, just let me know. I can quickly fix it.
Okay.
One that made me react is the rabbit that's bloody,
Oh yeah.
which is perfect for Halloween.
Yep. Void scarred hair. Only a being of immense power could scar such an adorable creature, unless the hair was already approaching the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Very
also a void
creepy.
scarred cat, which was this cat eats anything from random scraps of food to strange glowing cubes of immense power. Be careful in front of its mouth.
The cat doesn't look creepy though.
Oh, there's an extra, like, it has like a purple cloud hovering over it that's hard to show in the picture, but
Ah, okay.
it's just a very fat cat with a void cloud following it around.
You know, I when I saved this picture, what I named the file was a fat Luna.
Aww.
Because it's so cute, but it's so chubby. Maybe this will be Luna in the future. But yeah, that's what I named the file. Because it's like her colors. Kind of. This one has more white patches, but yeah. Which other ones did I have? Oh, I have this interesting one. Rakim, which looks like the new mount as well that we're getting soon, right? It reminded me of the mount. I
Oh
think.
yeah, yeah. The winged Akir, and it's from the raid. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that
it's
was pretty cool because I've always liked the idea of matching things. You know, having a mount match with your pet, or like as a warlock, I was always very happy with the mount from Gul'dan matching with my Infernal.
right.
So this is cool. Like I want this pet once I have the mount.
I also like the pygmy camel because the flavor text was funny, and it was these pygmy camels are often mistaken for mysterious camel figurines.
I actually have that camel here as well. I picked that one too, so that's perfect. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Like imagine having a camel as a pet.
Yeah, I also like just the Uldum joke.
Oh
How
yeah, the
when you
mysterious
get
camel
excited and you're like, oh,
figurines.
there's a camel on the ground, and you just get the dust instead of the
Yes,
actual mount.
yes, I remember those.
I also like the corrupted tentacle, because it
Corrupted
looks really
tentacle.
weird.
Let's see, which one is that?
The
Oh yes, I
eyeball.
have that one too. Yes.
Yes.
Here we go. And the flavor text for this one is quite interesting as well.
Yeah.
Where did it come from? Where does it go? Where did you come from, creepy tentacle? That reminds me of a song.
Yeah. That is also has I in it. So
Yes, good point. Yes, the eye. Illuminati. Cotton Eye Joe. Yes, that's it.
yes. So now we have corrupted eye Nizoth baby tentacle.
Mm-hmm. I
So
think that was the last one that I had here. But if you want to show any others, I can quickly save them.
I think they're pretty good. I feel like some of the models are they don't stand out, but we highlighted a few kind of creepy old god ones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just to clarify, a lot of these we were showing are either from the assaults in 8.3, the raid bosses in 8.3, or the horrific visions, which were the scenarios that you need to complete to power up your clone.
Mm-hmm. A bunch of new
Yeah.
pets for all of you. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Next
Another
up.
cute thing
Mm-hmm.
coming in 8.3 is we covered the Vulpera racial, but they are getting their animations, and one of them.
Yes, go ahead. I
Like
accidentally started a video on top of you speaking, but I
okay.
didn't mean to. So go ahead.
You can make a camp, and when you make a camp, you actually make a small camp, and then when you use return camp, you have a small cutscene of a Vulpera caravan, driving away.
Yes.
And when you click on the backpack at the camp, there is an explosion.
Yes. And now I can show the video of this actually happening. I didn't realize the scene would automatically play it, so I just accidentally did that. There you go. Just casually setting up a tent out in the woods. And then flying away. Wait, this video actually doesn't have any sound, so I could have let it continue playing. I just assumed that it would have sound. And then this Vulpera is using their Hearthstone. Or not Hearthstone, what is it called?
They're making a camp.
Make a camp.
And then return to camp.
Return to camp. And there it is. And now you're back. It is really nice for farming a rare spawn, that's true. I think it's really convenient for a lot of things. Yeah?
Yeah, I was going to say that it looks very involved compared to other racials people have.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, they get a cutscene.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any other racials where you get a cutscene.
Yeah, like teleports you.
Yeah.
And like in general, in terms of teleportation, we don't really have teleports that are, what's the word? Personal in terms of where they are. Like we have portals and teleports to designated spots in the game, like where an inn is, or where the portal rooms are for mage portals, and specific places. Flexible, I guess maybe is the word I'm looking for, except for summons where you have to have players there who summon you to a specific spot. We don't really have items that we can use to teleport us to a specific spot, I think, except for this now. Or am I wrong? Is there any other item that does anything similar?
I don't think that precise.
Yeah, it's a very, very specific teleport to a location, which is really interesting. And like somebody mentioned, it can be used for farming rares, for example. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like imagine being on Mechagon and you're farming Rust Feather, and then another rare spawns and you really need it fast, and then you have your camp over there, so you can just instantly teleport. It's awesome.
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool racial. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they'll ever do a racial revamp of the older races. Maybe if they ever do a bigger faction revamp at BlizzCon, they could announce, free race transfer now that we're shaking things up, because this just seems very exciting, whether you're camping a rare spawn or you just care about, is my spell pretty for RP? Mm-hmm. And it just seems way cooler than, someone just, get like, oh, I have 1% nature resistance. Or
yeah, no, I completely agree. I don't think they'll do free racial transfers, though. Would they?
Yeah, that's a bit ambitious.
I don't know. Because unless it gives you a real advantage in the game, you don't really need to be a different race. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe in a very, very short, limited time period, they would do that. Like a 24-hour time period or
I just wonder if it's like, oh, the faction lines are being redrawn.
Okay, if that happens, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, if factions are changed in a way, then I think I could maybe see that happen, because maybe somebody is like, no, I want to be that other race that wants nothing to do with the opposing faction,
right?
Like maybe a night elf, whereas maybe the humans are a bit more neutral with the horde. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? Yeah, that's true. Monk teleport is also a specific teleportation location. The same with the warlock teleport too, but even those have limitations in terms of distance, right? You can't do it from anywhere in the world. So
exactly.
It's pretty interesting to have something like this. Before we move on to the next topic, I just noticed that Swiggy reset for 22 months. So thank you very, very much for that, Swiggy. Almost 2 years of supporting Wowhead. I'm not sure if we missed anyone else. We do not have Sass here today, so we might be a little bit slow with keeping up with chat, but we will do our best. So if we miss anything, feel free to not spam, but repeat questions, or letting us know that there was a new alert of any kind. Just feel free to let us know.
Yep.
All right. Well, moving on. We have some possible spoilers regarding the horrific visions of Orgrimmar.
Yeah. So I think last week we covered the Alliance one. And just as a refresher, the horrific visions are an alternate universe where N'Zoth was successful, and Rathian sends us in to see the worst that can happen and kind of prepare us for fighting against N'Zoth. And we can power up our legendary cloak as we are in these scenarios, and we can do them by ourselves or with a group up to 5 people. So when we covered the Alliance last week, it was about how Ilaria actually gives in to the Void, and she's trying to kill her husband and corrupt her son. And, you know, the city is now like the base of operations for N'Zoth. And it was sad, but the Horde one we're going to cover now, I think, is even sadder because it really brings back a lot of painful memories in the Horde's past. So in this, we see that we have Thrall is corrupted by the elements and believes that the elements are telling him to serve N'Zoth. He's like, the elements have spoken, Azeroth is doomed. We must obey N'Zoth. The blood of the old god is our only salvation. Which is tragic because, you know, Thrall finally just came out of retirement, and, you know, Deathwing had a strong connection to the earth and the elements, and he was corrupted by N'Zoth, and now in this AU timeline, Thrall is close to the elements, and he is corrupted as well, so that's one sad parallel. But the part that was the saddest was how he's now forcing the Horde to drink the blood of N'Zoth, which is a parallel to the blood of Manaroth that, you know, enslaved all the orcs and created the blood curse. So it's really sad that you know, now Thrall is leading the charge to enslave the orcs once again. And we learned from Overlord Gayara in this alternate universe that the Maghar orcs refused to drink the blood of N'Zoth and were slaughtered for their defiance. And in the original timeline, Thrall's clan, the Frostwolf orcs, refused to drink the blood of Manaroth. And actually in the Warcraft movie, which is not the same as, you know, the lore, but a parallel people know about, that is what led to you know, Thrall's parents being killed in that film. So just interesting parallels, how history is repeating itself over and over again. And yeah, Rexxar, Garona, and Zakan are all present, and it's all really sad. Like, Rexxar is with his pets, but he's corrupted by N'Zoth, and his beasts are like devouring people to, you know, get their essences for N'Zoth. Garona is trying to hunt down and kill Thrall, but I think she ends up killed. She's ambushed. And then Zakan has not fallen to corruption, and he's trying to save the other shaman, but their faith is shaken because they believe they cannot trust the voice of the elements ever again. And it's even really sad for Gayara because she escaped alternate warlords, and everyone that stayed behind was presumed killed by, you know, the attack Yrel and the Lightbound led on the Maghar orcs. So there's, you know, she can't go back to her homeland, and everyone that stayed behind died. And now in this AU scenario, every one of the Maghar orcs except for her has perished because they would not drink the blood. So she's truly alone in this alternate timeline.
Nobody left.
Yeah, so to me, this was really dark and had a lot of thematic callbacks to the story of the orcs, more so than the Alliance that had the sad family drama, but this to me was on a much bigger scale of tragedy.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And it's
there's even
a lot more characters and everything also involved. Yeah.
There's even a line where Gammon, you know, in Orgrimmar, he's like, "I will save you." He even has a line that's "Gammon will not save us."
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah. So
no more Gammon will save us, as Gammon will not save us.
It's so sad. So What stood out to you from this? Because I think like the orcs drinking the blood of N'Zoth was the saddest part to me in this one.
I think that and this the story with the Magar orcs, or I guess
Yeah,
that's kind of the same story. Basically, with all the Magar orcs perishing.
yeah. It's interesting how they're giving the Magor orcs a lot more story time recently because there's so many allied races to fit in, and they're really developing their story. You know, it's like, oh, Gayara is just talking about honor, and then it's like, oh, we're going to see her, have a character transformation and understand why following Sylvanas was bad, and then she's involved in patch
Oh yeah.
8.3,
Mm-hmm.
talking to Lillian and kind of giving her a pep talk about reaching out to Kalia, and now we're seeing that in this AU scenario when she's really under pressure, her people did rise to do something noble and didn't fall to corruption, even though, she started off our first impression of her sort of like, I hate Draenei, follow Sylvanas, follow the war chief, and her character is getting a lot more nuance as the expansion goes on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's. I wonder if the choice is because we had some other. We mentioned before how certain races that are closer to each other might have like a sort of mini pact going on in a way, like with the
Yeah.
mechagnomes with the gnomes. So the Magar orcs with the orcs, and the orcs being sort of, in a way, the central race of the horde, automatically then puts a lot of emphasis on the Magar orcs as well. Like most things that happen in Orgrimmar, and yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
Maybe
could
maybe
see.
we'll see something. I guess she might be playing an even more important role very soon.
Yeah, it would be interesting, especially now that Thrall is back. And it's interesting in the AU scenario, she has a line being like, Thrall is the false son of Durotan. So she, at this point in the AU scenario, she's learned that Thrall is, her counterpart from the AU timeline, that they are both children of Durotan,
Oh
different
yeah.
versions of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would be interesting to see in the main timeline if they realize that and try to work together more.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting as well, because Thrall has been such an important figure for such a long time, and that automatically makes her role also very important.
Yeah, and just so people know, this is not the main timeline. This is like a weird worst case nightmare scenario
Yeah,
that
the
N'Zoth is
stories that we
doing.
just talked
So
about. Yeah.
yeah, and it's an interesting. I think it's really clever because some of the N'Zoth whispers can be true in this alternate reality, like the things with Valeria, falling
Mm-hmm.
to the void. But it's not true in the main timeline, and I think it gets across how there are so many. The void can have so many possible outcomes, and here
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing, just a few of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so these are
So
specifically the visions, the horrific visions, the special, I don't know if I can call them scenarios, but the special instances that we'll see in the next patch. And so these stories are sort of like a spin off of what could have happened in the worst case scenario.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have some dialogue we've pieced together on our plan to defeat N'Zoth and more details on what happens in the raid, which is also pretty interesting. Some of it gets a bit technical, and I feel that this will be much more exciting when we see it in a cinematic. But there were a few main points I wanted to highlight, which was the first was
Do we keep the
a lot of
spoiler tag for
people.
this?
Oh yeah, we probably need. Yeah,
Okay.
we probably need.
All right. Wait, did Perk
All
disappear?
right, good. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're good now. I think you disappeared for a few
So,
seconds, but you're back.
oh weird.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is, I know a lot of people were sad that Rathian was data mined as a boss,
Yep.
and after raid testing and some dialogue, it's confirmed that we fight an illusion of Rathian that was provided by N'Zoth. And when we kill him, he turns
Oh,
into this like squiddy thing,
it's an
not
illusion.
Rathian himself.
Okay. All right. So it's not him being corrupted and then we managed to free him.
Right.
It's just an illusion. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's funny because Rathian has lines afterwards where he's like, I learned that it doesn't take much for my friends to believe I betrayed them.
Oh,
So,
wow. Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
everyone is like, "Oh, I grabbed you and we knew you'd be corrupt." And he's like, "Wow."
Oh, yeah, nice comment there. An illusion, what are you hiding?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then we discussed in the past that Ashara thought that she needed to uh entrap N'Zoth in the Blade of the Black Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but there's some dialogue now afterwards where Rathian is like, like, was this true? And we learned that Rathian and Magni and Mother have a different plan, and they don't use the dagger, and they try to drop anchors to power up the Forge of Origination, and then fire this mega beam at N'Zoth. Which is like, so it's like, what's going on with the dagger then? Is there no power in the dagger? Did N'Zoth spread a rumor to Ashara to finally get her eager enough to be like, oh, I'll free N'Zoth so I can stab him? Like, was this a massive plan of his to, like, maybe the dagger's not doing anything. Maybe he just made Ashara and Sylvanas think it was powerful because the end result would be Ashara finally doing something after 10,000 years and trying to free him.
Do we know why or how Ashara thought that the Blade of the Black Empire is what can trap him? I mean, was it
No,
N'Zoth who said it himself? Okay, we don't know.
we don't know who told her this.
Okay.
But if N'Zoth made it, if the blade whispered to her, or if he insinuated that, I mean, we've heard in the past that maybe Xalatath was a god that was trapped blade, so maybe she heard some misleading information. But it's interesting if this was a whole big thing of misdirection and the blade doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah, that would be funny actually.
But yeah, it's just interesting how we go ahead with our plan and we don't listen to Ashara based on this text. Or maybe we do listen to. Maybe there's some cinematic where we think we're firing up the beam and all is well, and then I don't know, Sylvanas shows up with the blade and stabs N'Zoth.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are some similar elements where Ashara is like, "Oh, you will only have one chance to, stab at him. Otherwise, it's difficult to get a second one in." And Mother says something similar about using the forge to fire at N'Zoth. So there is still a sense that N'Zoth is very difficult to actually attack, but we're going for more of a Titan approach versus entrapping the old god of the blade.
We don't know where the blade is, do we?
I believe we pick it up at the end.
At the end of the raid?
At the end of the Dark Inquisitor encounter.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
And then the third sad piece of info is that we data mine text implying that Rodin meets Mother, and he's happy to meet another Titanic construct. And initially, he helps us power up the Forge of Origination, and is showing us vaults in Pandaria. And Rodin had a very dark history where he was, he lost hope when the Pantheon, he believed that they were dead. He was imprisoned by the Thunder King and chained up underground. And it seems that he's finally getting a spark of when he tries to help us in patch 8.3, but then he later falls to corruption as a raid boss. And I don't know if we save him or if he dies, but it's really bad if Rodin knew about our plan and then got corrupted, because now N'Zoth knows about our plan.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's helping us, and then he is corrupted and takes all that knowledge with him to N'Zoth.
Right. So even if we power up this forge and then shoot the beam at N'Zoth and defeat him, N'Zoth probably has something planned where even in death, he would have something to make that plan backfire.
Exactly.
So maybe he's like, oh, I can't survive this blast of energy, but I can do something that will really, you know, hurt the people on Azeroth.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like Sargeras, throwing the sword at Azeroth,
Yeah.
make his mark
Yeah.
on the way out. This was also interesting. We also found out that the bargain with the Shara and Sylvanas, that is revealed during the N'Zoth encounter.
Oh, okay.
So we don't know if N'Zoth if he's purposely being misleading to, I don't know, incite us to hate Sylvanas more. We don't know if we can take this at face value.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
Oh, maybe
Sylvanas
it's
is
a
like, oh,
misunderstanding of
Ashara,
Sylvanas
kill all
too.
champions.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We don't know what's going on there, but I'm sure the story is more complicated than this. I'm sure you just don't, fire a beam and then that's it.
Wait, so the line when we hear about how Sylvanas wanted all of us, including Horde and Alliance, to go to Nazjatar and then have us killed for that blade, this may not be true in that case? It might be a story told to us?
Yeah, N'Zoth says, behold my betrayal and yours.
Okay.
And it's like, why should we believe N'Zoth?
All right.
So
yeah, that made things a little bit more interesting. I did think that was really, really ruthless. I mean, I know Sylvanas is bad, but would she purposely send her horde? I don't know. It feels a little bit too much. Maybe now she would, but I feel like back then, I don't know why she would do that.
Yeah, so I think, maybe he exaggerated things to make us hate her even more and, further faction tensions to continue after his death.
Especially as a Horde player hearing that.
Yeah. I also wonder what's going to happen to the dagger because, it's like the phrase, like, Chekhov's gun. Like, there's this dagger, and everyone keeps talking about stabbing an old god with it. So I feel like the dagger will somehow do something bad at the end of this encounter.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we use the dagger in the wrong way, and then this dagger will lead to more old gods being, I don't know, resurrected, or we destroy the dagger, and then, like, the evil spirit inside the dagger is free. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's gotten too much prominence in the expansion to just, I don't know, be put into someone's backpack and forgotten about.
Yeah. It does definitely feel like it's going to be something of significance.
Yeah. So that's about our PTR coverage for this week.
Spoiler tag down.
Yep. We'll probably be covering more specialized things if there's not a PTR build. I don't know if there'll be one, but probably in the upcoming week we'll just be, highlighting mount videos or more nitty-gritty details on assaults or types of toys. But those are pretty much the broad strokes of what's going on. Obviously, if there's raid testing, we will do another environment preview. But yeah, that's about it. So we do have a lot of Warcraft 3 data mining, though. We highlighted a lot last week, and now we have a ton more information, so wanted to highlight some of that too.
Yes, let's jump into some Warcraft 3. Yeah, we showed a lot of skins last week, and it wasn't even close to all of the skins that were available. There's tons and tons of Warcraft 3 content out there to take a look at.
Yeah.
Mostly arts, but still.
Yeah. So the first thing we wanted to highlight is last week we talked about the Jaina and Thrall player portraits that were from the Spoils of War Collector's Edition. And we've learned and since posted that they're not just portraits, they are actual skins that you can select for certain characters in multiplayer mode. So Jaina has her BFA appearance, and she replaces the Archmage, and Thrall has his Cataclysm appearance and looks like the Farseer. or again, Greymane, as everyone has been pointing out.
Mm-hmm.
So these models look great.
Let me get the actual models up. You want to see the full bodies?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Here we have Jaina, full body model, and Thrall as well, right there. And as you could see in the previous picture, it also shows an idea of how the unlocking of skins may look like in the game.
Yeah.
Right here. Collections. I think that'll make collectors very happy. To have a good overview of what skins you may have already and what skins you may want and how to get them.
Yeah, so the interesting thing here is, do you think Blizzard is going to add more skins to the game and what they could be? So, someone might say, oh, it would be cool to have, Night Warrior, Tyrande, or, an Anduin themed skin, or, some sort of Banshee,
yeah, more
Sylvanas.
Sylvanas, yeah.
So
I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, I can almost wonder maybe what was I going to say? They could do a skin store, or they could add a lot of skins through collector's editions moving forward to keep adding value to them. Like whenever they announce Diablo 4 or a WoW expansion, they could keep adding more characters as skins from those options. Because, like you showed, they have a special section in the collection box now for skins, so there has to be more than just 4.
Yeah. So it can't only be collector's edition, and maybe some of them will be a sort of real skin shop for actual money. Maybe there will be tons that you just unlock while playing the game. Maybe a mixture of both.
Yeah, I could see both.
Yeah.
I think it would be sad if all skins were just, a cash shop.
Yeah, I don't think that would be well received at all.
No.
So probably a way to get some kind of currency as you're playing, or some kind of unlocking, and then some things maybe. I mean, the game has a base cost, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to necessarily go full on. All cosmetics cost money.
Right. It's not like Hearthstone free to play.
No. But it's also not like WoW with a monthly subscription.
Correct.
So they have to find a middle ground somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I think at BlizzCon, we will see.
Yeah, we'll probably get a very, very good, if not complete, idea of how the game will be at BlizzCon. I mean, it was announced last year. I don't think anyone would be happy if, we only get a date. I think...
Right. Well, if we did get a date, it would have to be really soon.
Yeah,
because,
that too.
It's, coming in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have it be exciting as an announcement standalone for 2 BlizzCons. There has to be probably some computers over there set up and actually play it, honestly. That's what I would expect.
Yeah, I would think so as well.
And then maybe a date of it being available very soon. Maybe sometime in November, maybe end of November.
Yeah, I could see that getting ready for the Christmas season. And maybe they would also tease when the things like Frozen Throne and, the expansion would also be coming Warcraft 3. Because a lot of what we data mine is related to humans and orcs, and we hardly have any Night Elf or Undead mobs. But yeah, we also have a lot of fun model updates we just wanted to share with you. We have the Elite Tauren Chieftain Band, which it just shows the attention to detail, because their song, so the band is based on Blizzard employees, and their song was featured in the credits, and since then the band is in many places around Azeroth, like the Grim Guzzler and World's End Tavern. And even they are getting updates. And Arthas even makes an appearance in original Warcraft 3 as the guitarist playing their song at the end. and his model is not complete yet, but his Frostmourne guitar is fully rendered. So
Oh, I don't think I
people are
got
very
that
happy.
picture. Wait, let me
It
save that one quick.
yeah
Here it is. Because that one looks really cool. I think I just
yeah
looked at it and then I forgot to actually add it. And then because I'd looked at it for a while, I forgot. Um, Here it is. Bam. Yeah, it looks so cool. Like that instrument and all the details, the iciness. I love it.
yeah. They need to sell. People in the comments are like, "Oh my god, sell that guitar! I want a
Mm-hmm.
guitar that looks like that."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks
But
amazing.
yeah, it's nice to see them being updated.
Mm-hmm.
And it just shows that they're really taking the update seriously. Like every minor character is getting an update,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's awesome to see.
yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
if you want to see these guys in game, they hang out in Silvermoon City on a balcony, and you can find them performing in the Grim Guzzler, the Dark Moon Fair, and World's End Tavern.
Yeah, this is an unfinished model. Well, the weapon looks pretty finished.
Yeah, the
Uh,
weapon is good.
Weapon looks good. The actual body itself is not complete yet.
Right.
Still a work in progress.
Yep. But we wanted to include it because a lot of people were like, "Where's Arthas? He was the
Mm-hmm.
original guitarist." So we're like, "Oh, he's still part
He's
of the
still
band in
remembered.
Warcraft 3."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's important to mention important characters.
Yeah. In other
And
silly
mm-hmm.
model news, we there's a special uh, part of Warcraft 3, a hidden racetrack, the Azeroth Grand Prix. It's a racing event,
Mm-hmm.
and it always had various silly characters racing. And we have updated Diablo and Lich cars for this custom map mode, and they look pretty funny as well. So we have Diablo on a Diablo Immortal bike,
Yeah.
and I think Kel'Thuzad on a really metal-looking tricycle.
Yeah. There you go. So how does this racing thing fit into the game exactly?
It's just one of the bonus maps,
Okay. Uh-huh.
and there are 4 different racers you can
Mm-hmm.
have on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the official description is: legends speak of a hidden racetrack north of the border where representatives from the far reaches of the land gather to test their skills and racing prowess. This event
Mm.
is known to break even the mightiest of combatants with its no rules barred arena.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it's based on Mario Kart, the similar rules to it.
Yeah. Cool.
So it's nice that even they're getting updated, and
Mm-hmm.
there's still 2 more maps we haven't. Sorry, 2 more riders and their cars we haven't seen yet, and I'm sure those will look ridiculous as well.
Yeah.
But Diablo was one of the racers in the original version of the game, and
Mm.
here he is now with his very popular Immortal bike.
Yeah. It does look pretty cool. Oh, it just swapped. I wanted
Yeah.
to swap it exactly when it was Diablo. Wait. Let's see. Let's wait for the. There we go. There we go.
Nice.
That's what happens when you have a slideshow. But yeah, moving on, we have some more updates. Still related to Warcraft 3, right?
Yeah. We have some high elves. A lot of people were asking for them, and we if you remember last week, we had some models, but they were kind of like very low quality, low resolution. So we went back and we did Sylvanas, and we also found a lot more high elves, and they look beautiful.
They do.
Uh, this is Sylvanas in her elven form as the Ranger General. We
Mm-hmm.
have King Anasterian, and you might remember that his armor looks very similar to what he has in the flashback at the Blood of Heritage armor, and he's wielding the Fire Mage artifact weapon. And you can see Kael'thas. If you did the Quel'Dalar questline in Wrath of the Lich King, you might remember that Thalurian Dawnseeker was the original owner of the blade before it was shattered, and here he is in Warcraft 3 holding the blade. Also with the Alliance Trial of the Crusader cape, the cape you would get when you clear the raid without having any wipes. So it's really cool, and I think that including these minor characters that we've seen in WoW is very interesting because it implies that they're now going to be present in the Warcraft 3 campaign, and it strengthens the lore between WoW and Warcraft 3. So we're now seeing the Fall of Silvermoon dramatized in WoW as Blood Elf Heritage armor, and in Warcraft 3 with part of the campaign. We learn about this mysterious Blood Elf who used to wield Quel'Dalar, and now we're actually seeing him part of the campaign. We actually get to see him in Warcraft 3 when he died, and all of that makes the story a lot more cohesive, which is interesting.
I couldn't get the Kael'thas picture showing before, but here it is.
Cool.
Looks very cool.
Yeah. Anyways, there's many more pictures. If you look at, I don't think we're going to show this, but if you look at Blood Elf Spellbreaker in the post we're talking about, it does look similar to the Heritage armor. The Blood Elf Dragonhawks look like the Blood Elf mounts you can get. Sylvanas looks similar to her model in the Blood Elf Heritage armor flashback, and also her Heroes of the Storm skin. Her bow is beautiful. I love her bow.
We have Jaina model here too.
Yeah, we improved our models, like I was saying, for the famous characters that we showed right at the start of the data mining. So, you can see that Jaina in much greater detail. How she's still wearing her pantsuit from the early days. She doesn't have her BFA outfit quite yet, but the graphics are much, much better than Warcraft 3.
Yep.
And she still has that, corset, cape thing going on that she still has in BFA. We also have Uther. Looks very similar to his BFA statue at his tomb resting place in Western Plaguelands. We have Medivh. I think we showed his cape last time, but his cape with the higher definition is now beat up, which is interesting. It's got holes in it and it's stitched together. And his staff looks a lot more like ATS now, so that's interesting, as opposed to being like a pineapple. And Arthas, we highlighted last week, had a different model when he picked up Frostmourne. And with our more detailed preview, we can appreciate the changes in more detail, how it's not just, paler skin or a tattered cape, but when you look at the armor, you see that there's little icicles hanging from all of his armor, showing how he's been possessed by the Lich King, like the shoulders and the emblem on and his belt, and pretty much all over just these little icicles on him, and his armor is more pale as well.
Yep. It's very nice to see these in more detail.
Yeah. So we will be covering these. We still have more models to do. Stevan loves covering these models, so we're trying to do at least one a day. Most recent one we got up were updated demons, including the orcs when they were corrupted by drinking the blood during the fight in Ashenvale. But yeah, there's so many models. We're just trying to highlight, the most interesting ones. But, we're trying to do one every day on Wowhead. And if you don't care about Warcraft 3, you can always go to the news filter on the front page, and we have a Warcraft 3 category. You can always deselect that. But I think a lot of people like seeing these things because they're just so... It reminds people of a really fun time in WoW's history.
Yeah, and a lot
And
of people played Warcraft 3 before WoW as well, so I think it's very relevant.
yeah, and the models are gorgeous. People are saying, why can't WoW do something like this? And
Yeah,
it's
like
just
all the characters being crossed over from both games as well.
yeah, I think that the engine would just fall apart if you tried to have WoW more high all these high fidelity graphics just
Oh,
with the nature of
yeah.
the game.
Maybe one day.
So, yeah.
Maybe we'll start getting some really high definition humans to start with soon, and then slowly but
Yeah.
surely everything.
So we even have that's about it for Warcraft 3, but we have
Yeah.
a little bit of classic news as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hallows End is now live in both BFA and Classic, and there's not too much new in BFA, but a lot of people are interested in Classic because it's the first time you can play it since vanilla,
Yeah.
and you can still do a few fun things.
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to do a quick rundown of what to do. And I actually just saw a blue post pop up that Hallows End is here through November 2nd in WoW Classic. So
Mm.
get those
Does the
things done.
dates differ from BFA?
Yeah, I think BFA ends on the 1st.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But Classic, I don't think had Day of the Dead.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So, some things you should think about in WoW Classic for Hallows End.
Mm-hmm.
Level 50 plus undead mobs can drop a pumpkin bag, which is a 16 slot bag.
That's
So
a
that's
really
kind of a
useful.
big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're not unique.
Mm-hmm. How
So
rare
you can
is
get
it?
a
Do you
lot.
know?
Sorry?
How
It's
rare
pretty
is it?
rare.
It's pretty rare. But it could
Yeah.
be a good decision for people to, because they drop from mobs and dungeons too, right?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do some dungeoning and you're not sure what dungeon to do and you're grabbing some people, then maybe focus on undead dungeons since these drop from undead mobs and try to grind it out. Maybe you're lucky. Maybe you'll get a bag or two.
Yeah.
And 16
I'm
slot is
even
pretty
looking
big.
I'm even looking at the Wowhead comments, and some people are saying they're getting them from non-undead that are level 50 and higher. So
Okay.
maybe
Mm-hmm.
you'll just be out there in the world getting them from other things. Like people are
Oh,
like saying, I got them from a Jadefire Hellcaller, I got Ursa. So
okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another neat thing is that you can talk to innkeepers for trick or treat, and if you get tricked, you might be transformed into something like a frog or
Yeah.
ghost or a kitten or a Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get a treat bag, you can get a flimsy mask, or you can get a hollowed wand, and then you can apply fun disguises to other players, such as a pirate, a ninja, a skeleton, a wisp, stuff like that. You can also do apple bobbing to get apples, and the apples give you a stamina and spirit buff.
Mm.
You can
Which is the best you can get from food right now, right? Actually, I think with Diamond there were a few more foods being introduced.
yeah.
But still decent.
You can do a quick candy quest to get the Hallows End pumpkin treat that turns you into a lot of fun things, like a floating ghost, or a skeleton pirate, or being gigantic and orange. And you can get the Wickerman buff, which increases your health regen, mana regeneration, and stamina by 25% for 2 hours.
Nice.
And you need to go to the festival NPCs in Tirisfal Glades near the border by Silver Pine Forest. This is interesting to me. Like, I think it makes sense in Classic, but the festival isn't really updated for BFA, so it's weird going back to this old version of Undercity and hearing Sylvanas talk about like celebrating the Forsaken, knowing what's going on with them in BFA.
Yeah.
But the holiday makes sense in Classic.
Of course.
So there's also a few more quests related to the, stink bombs or the Wickerman festival. But yeah, it's very different than BFA. There's no headless horseman mount to farm that was added in
No?
Crusade.
We weren't going to tell people there is one? and then they start farming.
Aw.
No. There's no
Um,
mount to pick up.
when you trick or treat, there's no like candy currency that you pick up to buy costumes and stuff with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different, but it's one of the original holidays in WoW Classic, so that's cool. And it's still really fun to transform people into different disguises.
Mm-hmm. Somebody in the chat says the Wickerman quest also gives +10 on experience.
Oh, interesting.
Because that could be really good if you're leveling.
Yes, definitely. That is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is the person talking about BFA or Classic?
Oh. That's a good question.
Because
Are we talking about Classic?
yeah, because in BFA,
Oh, it's BFA, okay.
yeah, BFA is experience and reputation by 10%.
Yeah.
And Classic is health, mana regeneration, and stamina percent.
Gotcha. Well, it's good that we were able to clear that.
Yep.
So now we know. In case somebody else hears a rumor, now you can tell them. Actually, I heard on Wowhead Weekly. There you go. So it's good to know.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm a little sad they didn't update Hallows End for BFA following everything going on with Sylvanas. I don't know if it was too soon, or they thought that people that play WoW were interested in things that aren't holidays. But it felt like it would be a good time to do updates, sort of reflecting on what it means to be a Forsaken without Sylvanas leading, or maybe they were worried they would give too much away. I don't know. It reminds me of how I hope the Lunar Festival should have had some Burn and Night Elf development this past year, and it didn't.
Yeah.
So
I feel like a lot of the holidays are kind of left behind. Maybe they're waiting for a specific expansion to just revamp them all. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they don't really work right now.
No.
And they updated Brewfest, but I think the timing was really sad because Brewfest was basically right when WoW Classic came out, so of course nobody would really be,
I actually
doing
missed
the Brewfest stuff.
Yeah, I actually missed that because I think I was traveling too. I think it was in the middle of TwitchCon.
Yeah, exactly. It was that's when.
Yeah. So I need to wait another year to farm the new Hearthstone and the new Transmogs and everything. But yeah, I think that's actually it for today.
Yeah. So, like I said, I thought that we'd have a BlizzCon schedule by now, but we don't. We do have a raid testing schedule, and they will be testing Il'gynoth on Friday the 25th. So that might be interesting. I'm just seeing what came up in Wowhead chat, and they're also testing the Dark Inquisitor fight, which is the fight where Ashara is pleading with us. So those two should be interesting to watch at least. But yeah, I don't know when they're going to give us a schedule. Maybe they are delaying that as well planned because they're concerned, having a big empty area on the map or a schedule could give something away. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's very interesting that they decide to wait with releasing schedule for now.
Yeah, but
maybe lots
hopefully
of secrets.
by next week we will have all that information.
Yeah, we should, because next week is the 28th, so
yeah,
I hope so. Then we can talk about the schedule here, and here on Wowhead, cover what's going to happen.
So,
and also, speaking of BlizzCon itself, hopefully we can also, apart from the post-con impressions and thoughts with Perk and I think that I will also be able to actually IRL stream at the event itself, maybe with some kind of Wowhead twist to it. And I think that's going to be really exciting as well. I feel like for every event, the interest for IRL streaming becomes more and more high. It becomes higher, not more and more. Becomes more high. Yeah, that's it. So I think that's going to be really fun to IRL stream my experience over there.
Yeah, I know in the past that they were I don't think people could IRL stream, but maybe they'll have certain areas this year. I haven't heard anything
Oh, that's a
official
good
about it
point.
either
Yes,
way.
I needed to ask for specifics about that actually.
Yeah.
Because that might be true. I think you can record to vlog when you're inside, but I'm not sure if you can stream.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think last year I vlogged. But yeah, that's a good point. Probably should look that up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so I guess we can wrap up the show, and hopefully we'll have a lot of BlizzCon news next week.
Yes. Short show, but still covering all the new things from last show until now. Weekly news, as always. And we will be back next week, same time, hopefully covering a lot more on BlizzCon itself, and maybe some other sneak updates on the PTR, or Warcraft 3, or maybe some other kind of leaks. Who knows?
Maybe we'll have some merchandise at that point.
Yeah, maybe some merchandise to look forward to. Until then, everyone, take care. Thank you guys for hanging out, for watching, for supporting, and we will see you again next week. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to press follow and have those notifications on to catch us next time.
Yep. Bye.
And next week, you'll see Perk in person as well, together with Brightpaw.
Yep, Brightpaw is very important.
Yes. We can't do a high five because we can't see Perk, but I'll do a clap.
Okay.
Do you want to count for me?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
An actual clapping sound. Insane.
Yes.
Have fun, Perk, in NYC. Wait, what do you mean? No. Perk, have fun in Stormwind, okay?
Yes, Stormwind.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Take care and have a great, let's see, what day is it today? Monday. Have a great week. Yeah, not weekend. Not yet. Soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, everyone.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.